There are two games that absolutely impact the number one overall seed for the NFL playoffs. Looking around the matchups this week, there are at least four that are guaranteed to at least play some role in Wild Card Weekend. There's something about this matchup at home, but this will be a shootout. He's leaving a team that was in contention for the number one overall pick, and he joins a team that's in contention for the number one overall seed in the AFC. Chad, there are two games that absolutely impact the number one overall seed for the NFL playoffs coming up this weekend. And looking around the matchups this week, there are at least four that are guaranteed to at least play some role in Wild Card Weekend because of tiebreakers, head-to-head matchups, and other tie-breaking scenarios, right? Or keeping you out of the playoffs, for instance. My top game, it isn't in prime time, but it's worthy for several reasons. It is time for one big thing on every NFL game. Patriots, Buccaneers. The winner on Sunday can officially begin to set their sights on the number one seed for their conference. This is a game that I'm going to use as a litmus test for New England. That they're a solid team, 6-game winning streak, 4-0 on the road, but they haven't faced a team like the playoff contending Bucs. A road win means New England hits a 4-game stretch at 7-2 overall, with the Jets, Bengals, and Giants on their schedule coming up. 3 of those of the next 4 are at home at Gillette Stadium, but a road win would be hard-earned because Tampa is coming off of their bye. Their defense allows 3.9 yards per carry this season. That is exactly the amount of yards that the Patriots average per game on the ground. This is going to be a dogfight, and I can't wait to see it.
Hutton, this is sort of a kingmaker type game to me. When you look at the two quarterbacks involved, Drake Maye and Baker Mayfield, Patriots fans have been wanting the next Tom Brady since Tom Brady left for Tampa.
Yep.
And Baker Mayfield, we know his story of revival of his career. Had some good times in Cleveland, went to Carolina, had none, and he's completely revitalized himself in Tampa. I think it's a big matchup. If this game comes down to the wire, a legendary moment could be in the process for Drake Maye or Baker Mayfield to get their team over the hump and to be one of those few 2-loss teams remaining.
I really like both teams this season. And the story for Buccaneers fans last year was they're carrying that over well.
Yeah.
The other game, Monday Night Football is this week. Eagles, Packers. Playoff rematch, potential tiebreaker for the postseason. The Packers' defensive front faces an Eagles running attack that just still is kind of stuck in neutral, although Green Bay did just allow 100 yards to a running back. It's the first time all season they've done that. That was last week. And Philly continues to struggle to find their run game, but that has not held the team back from winning games. They've thrown the ball a lot. Jalen Hurts has more than 280 yards in 3 of his last 4 games, and now he's got 15 touchdowns, just 1 interception this season. Defensively, Philadelphia needs to shore up on third down problems. Opponents have converted over 50% of their third downs against the Eagles over the past 3 weeks. And the Packers offense, they've been very good in that area. They convert at a high rate on third down. There's something about this matchup at home. I think Green Bay takes this, but this will be a shootout. And for different reasons. I think Philadelphia is going to throw it all over the field. Meanwhile, Green Bay is they'll get it done. And Jordan Love doesn't get a lot of talk. They play with leads in the second half, Chad. That means they run the ball a lot. He's not putting up gaudy numbers because he's not throwing the football. They have the lead.
2 weeks ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers wore some of the worst uniforms I've ever seen in the history of football.
Ahead.
And they lost at home to the Green Bay Packers. A week later, the Green Bay Packers said, "Hold my beer," and wore some of the worst-looking uniforms I've ever seen in a home loss at Lambeau to the damn Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, somehow are relevant and in the playoff mix this year, and no one's talking about the Panthers. That's for another day. Here's the lesson in this. When you watch Thursday Night Football last night and you see the beauty of the original Broncos Orange Crush uniforms and the royal blue helmets against the old school classic look of the Raiders on the field together, the lesson here is Green Bay Packers. Don't wear stupid, ugly uniforms. Go with the classics, and you get it done against the Eagles this week.
What's the mantra?
Will the Eagles wear something awful this week?
Play good. Isn't that the mantra?
Yeah. And I'll go and say it for the Eagles, too.
Good.
Go to the old Kelly Green uniforms more often. That is a great look. The Randall Cunningham Eagles look is the one I want to see more often.
I'll raise my hand. I don't know half the time. I can't dress myself. I don't know what to wear. I know I wouldn't look good in that.
No.
Everybody knows that. No fans buying that crap.
And in general, there are some instances where, okay, yeah, the uniforms improved, but Seattle, they went to a worse uniform scheme than they had before. Denver, way worse uniform scheme. Philadelphia, I think a worse uniform scheme with the darker green that they went to years ago. So go back to the classics. And if you're the Green Bay Packers, don't mess with some faux leather helmet that you wore last week against the Panthers. You earned that L, Green Bay. You earned it with what you wore.
Rams, 49ers, Chad. Both teams with 6 wins. It's hard to believe the 49ers, with all their injuries, have 6 wins. This is the 6th time since the NFL division realignment. That was in 2002. That a division has 3 teams with 6 or more wins through 9 weeks. The Rams have covered in 6 of their 8 games this season. And their games have hit the under in 4 of their last 5. Just keep that in mind here. San Fran, 6-3 because of Christian McCaffrey. This is incredible. He accounts for over a third of San Francisco's offensive yards as a team right now. That is nuts to have an NFL player doing that when no one else is really a threat because of injuries. And then defensively, they're making it work. Sunday Night Football, Steelers-Chargers. My final must-see playoff impactful game. The Chargers, they are back home after a road win against the Titans. And that was a layup. It's a get-right game for them and for anyone. Now they face a Steelers offense that doesn't put up big numbers, but they cash in on big moments. The Bolts, they possess the football. They find chunk plays. They close out by capitalizing on opponents' mistakes. They're plus 50 in opponents' points off turnovers. The Steelers are. And an area the Chargers don't capitalize on. They're in the negative category there. But the Steelers score quickly, or they don't score at all. Their possessions, they failed to pick up a first down over nearly 50% of the time, over 45% of the time. The Chargers, they may find it hard, though, Chad, to move the football a bit. Joe Alt suffered a season-ending injury. They traded for Trevor Penning. So can the offensive line give Justin Herbert time to throw against a very up-and-down Steelers defense? That's really what it comes down to. Can Penning step in?
Was not overly impressed with the Chargers. That was our lock last week to cover 9.5 against the Titans. They failed to do so.
I said double the spread.
I'm a little bit down on the Chargers after that performance. Not going to lie. So I think Pittsburgh goes in there and wins because of that. And will Aaron Rodgers get to stay in his LA home as he goes and plays in this game? You know, get to sleep in your own bed the night before the game. Could be a little boost for the elderly quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well said. I mean, he didn't get his way to go out to, what was it, Germany earlier this year?
Yeah.
Now,
well, I really would have liked to have seen the sights. Been nice the league allowed us to do that.
That's amazing. Steelers took down Indianapolis last Sunday. The Colts then traveled to Berlin. They meet the Falcons Sunday morning. Falcons-Colts. Sauce Gardner is the new quarterback for Indy. So think about this. You're playing for the New York Jets. You're traded. You're now flying to Berlin. He's cleared concussion protocol, and he's going to make his Colts debut. And look, he's leaving a team that was in contention for the number 1 overall pick, and he joins a team that's in contention for the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. The Colts are all in with Daniel Jones, who had his worst performance of the season last week. He was sacked a season-high 5 times, 3 of which resulted in fumbles. He lost 2 of those. He threw 3 interceptions. He's only thrown 3 prior to last week. Atlanta's 0-5 in games that they have trailed in at any point, Chad. 0-5 this season. So Indy's going to get the lead. And, yeah, the Falcons are 3-0, though, against the spread as underdogs. 1-4 as favorites. So they're the underdog here.
What you're saying is Falcons not great at handling adversity. They've not won a game they trailed for a second in. I'll tell you who is good at handling adversity. Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner knows adversity playing for the Jets. I do want him to, though, get there, and the first thing he says to the media is when he's in Berlin, man, I wish I'd had more time to see the country. I've heard great things about Germany. If the league would only allow us to get out here earlier, we could see more of the sights. That's what I want to hear from Sauce Gardner.
Well said. Saints and Panthers, this is in Carolina. Carolina found the upset last week in Green Bay. And now they find themselves in a game and a half behind the Bucs in the NFC South. It's unbelievable. I don't even think about Carolina. The bottom of the division, though, that's New Orleans. The Saints, they've actually held a lead this season. Only 13% of snaps all year. Yeah.
Higher or lower than the Titans on that one?
That's the lowest in the league, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The Titans actually held a lead.
The only intrigue with the Saints, will they get the number 1 overall pick?
It's between the Saints,
the Jets, the Titans.
The Titans.
All with 1 win.
Yeah. Bears and Giants will play this week. Giants pass rusher Brian Burns. We tied the Titans with this. Cam Ward said, "We ass." Brian Burns says, "It's time to nut up or shut up," as they face a strong Chicago offensive line.
Hell yeah.
And establish rushing attack.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah. So, if you want to see Brian Burns nut up, you're about to see this on Sunday. Since their Week 5 bye, the Bears lead the league in the rate of plays that gain 10 yards or more. Yeah, and you say you can't make adjustments at the bye. Here's Caleb Williams doing some great things.
If the Giants turn this thing around and start winning football games, I'm absolutely putting nut up or shut up with a Giants logo on a T-shirt. If I'm the team, that should be the new rallying cry
has sack up
for Giants fans everywhere. Nut up or shut up if they go on some miraculous run now. Yeah.
Texans and Jaguars.
Nut up or shut up.
They're not nutting up here. Jacksonville, they added Jacoby Myers at the deadline. He's likely a significant player, though, Sunday. The Jags have a limited players at wide receiver due to a long list of injuries. The Texans defense can take advantage of this with limited options for Trevor Lawrence, and they play well at home. All 4 of Houston's home games have hit the under. If you want to take a nap, watch the games that are played at that stadium. They'll need another big defensive effort here. C.J. Stroud is out. He's in concussion protocol. Davis Mills gets the start, something he hasn't done since the 2022 season when he led the NFL in interceptions. May God have mercy on their soul. Dolphins and Bills. Bills are looking to get their 8th straight win against Miami. They're coming off of a win over Kansas City last week where Josh Allen returned to MVP form. Now he faces a Dolphins team that he has dominated. Allen has a career record of 14-2. He averages 3 total touchdowns per game when he faces Miami's defense. That's a group that is allowing 27 points per game this season. Miami's 2-7. That's their worst start since 2021.
It feels like a game the Bills are going to struggle in. I don't know what it is about this Bills team, but coming off that big win over Kansas City, I just feel like they're now going to go on the road and look bad. Similar to that loss in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm not calling the upset, but I feel like it's going to be a real struggle bus.
You think Mike McDaniel's going to give a great pregame pep talk?
I think Mike McDaniel is going to walk into that locker room and he's going to say, nut up or shut up.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to tell his team. And it's going to work, just like Brian Burns. It's going to work.
Vikings and Ravens. Both offenses, they have their QB1s back steering the ship. The Ravens acquired pass rusher Draymond Jones at the trade deadline, hoping to just get more pressure on the quarterback. They did that last week. They had 5 sacks in Week 9. That's also how many times J.J. McCarthy was sacked last week. The Vikings, they are a 5.5-point home underdog here. Vegas continues to love Baltimore, and their odds of just rattling off wins because after this Sunday in Minneapolis, the Ravens have the Browns, Jets, and Bengals on the November schedule. I'm kind of leaning Vikings here, and I really like Baltimore. J.J. McCarthy, and I don't know. There's way too much. There's way too much buzz around Baltimore, and this is really their last big threat before they finish the season against the Steelers.
J.J. McCarthy scored some credibility points last week in that win over Detroit. I was impressed.
Have you heard about Justin Jefferson this year?
Not as much.
I bet we do.
He's been in more commercials. Yeah. I like his Little Caesar spots. That's what I've heard about him.
Believe it or not, I do have some notes on this game. Browns and Jets. Big changes this week. So you've got the Jets who trade away Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, Michael Carter at the deadline. The Browns, Kevin Stefanski just handed over play calling duties to Tommy Rees, saying that Tommy Rees, who's the first-year offensive coordinator in Cleveland, he created his own play sheet. He has final say on the play calls, all of that for Week 10. Rees makes his Browns debut against a Jets defense, again, that just traded away their elite starters here. Morale will be down. If Dillon Gabriel can now take advantage of this new play caller and favorable matchup, the Browns could end their 12-game road losing streak That is a stretch where they have been outscored 366 to 170, and they've dropped their past 7 road games by at least 13 points. End it here for Cleveland. This is where you do it.
Would Aaron Glenn be an upgrade at corner based on what's
Yes.
left for the Jets right now?
Absolutely.
Aaron Glenn, at whatever age he is right now with white hair, great corner in his playing days. I feel like you got to put him on the outside. Player coach for this one game.
Cardinals, Seahawks. Seattle came back from a bye with a 38-14 victory in Washington. That's their 3rd straight win, 6th in their last 7 games. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the one to watch here. He should pass over 1,000 or catch over 1,000 yards receiving within the first half of this game. He's had at least 100 yards in his last 4 games and 6 of Seattle's 8. Jacoby Brissett, the Cardinal starter, much better as the starter than what we've seen previously from that offense. And finally, Lions and Commanders, Chad. The Lions actually have admitted they find this as a revenge game for their loss last year in the playoffs. I would say the offense just needs to take advantage of a week where you don't have Jaden Daniels playing. Jaden Daniels, so he doesn't need surgery, but they're going to assess him after the bye, which is coming up for Washington in 2 weeks, I believe. Speaking of bye weeks, byes this week, Bengals, Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans. Chad, that's one big thing on every NFL game.
I like the coach that will come out and players that will say, yeah, it means a little more to us because of the way last season ended.
Yep.
So kudos to the Lions for admitting what everyone else knows.
Let me see if Adam can send me the official number here for wrong team favorite. Because I want to give a shout out here before we get things going here. We've had 40 games now that we have predicted, right, for wrong team favorite. As we can put up the leaderboard. A total of 238.5 points have been waived because we're playing straight up here. The average spread of our games that we have selected is 5.5 points. And we have 16 straight up wins in 40 games. Now consider that's like plus 190.
Way better than recent seasons for us.
Yes. I mean, let's go. I mean, all of us are doing well with this. We're averaging 2 wins, 50%. We're making money every week. I'm following whatever we're doing this week as a collective group. I lost last week to SC. I've got 22.5 points. Chad, great victory.
Yep.
You're finding these. You're finding these 10.5s. And SC,
it's time
you
for
got
me
it
to
done.
nut up or shut up, and I did not shut up.
Well done.
And I nutted
well
up.
Well done. You lead Sean by a half point, and Adam needs to nut up or shut up at 14 points.
Yep, it's time.
Maybe he does that this week.
But he's coming off a win.
I am taking Iowa over Oregon. 6.5 is what I'm placing up here, trying to get 6.5. I'm doing this because at some point streaks have to end. Oregon leads the country in road victories, the road streak. 10 straight road games they've won. The next best team on the road is Ohio State with 5. Dan Lanning's outstanding with the focus. They don't complain about travel, believe it or not, which congratulations. What I think here is this, Chad, we focus on weather a lot. 44 degrees and 100% chance of rain.
Oh,
give me
bring it on.
The Hawkeyes defense. And the overall, the over-under went from 43.5 to 40, and it's going down. So with that, I'm taking Iowa at home.
Mark Gronowski's about to run for 150 in this game.
235-pound Mark Gronowski.
Hutton, I normally don't like going with, and I like this pick, by the way. The first Big Ten matchup between Iowa and Oregon also will be on Saturday.
Yeah.
I normally don't like to go with the road dog in this competition, but I'm going to do so here. BYU, Texas Tech, 10.5 is way too many points. Way too many points. For BYU being undefeated, I get that Bear Bachmeier is a true freshman. He's on the road. I get that every game Baron Morton started, Texas Tech has looked pretty dominant. And maybe this one does get away from them, but I like my chances of BYU staying undefeated and going on the road. I think it's a 4-quarter game. I think it's coming down to the wire. Give me the Cougs to go to Lubbock and pull off the upset with tortillas flying.
Okay. Oh, yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going back to my old strategy of trying to find some home dogs because we're on a little bit of a slide here, but I am coming off a win. So I'm going with Hawaii as the home dog to beat San Diego State. If I'm a road favorite, the last thing I want is a 9-hour flight to Hawaii. So let's hope that takes its toll this week.
So this is a popular pick by these online professionals, I would say.
I did not.
So Hawaii is 15-2-2 since 2020 as a home dog.
Love that.
That's very much on your side there.
It's the ideal situation for a home dog. It's like, yeah, you fly your ass 9 hours down here to come play the Rainbow Warriors, and you're not walking away without some scratches.
Chad and I know a professional called the General, Al Dorsey.
Oh, yeah.
This is his game as well.
He picked this game?
He wins a lot like this.
If you're going with the General, then you're going to win.
I swear I did not look up like
this is I
best
did a double
picks
take
of the
when you
week,
sent this in, but I'm like, okay, let's see it. Let's see it. Sean, who are you going with this week?
Let's go back out west here one more time for him. I am going with Stanford over UNC in this matchup. Stanford not done well in the last couple weeks against top ACC opponents. They didn't do well against UVA either, but against the middling ACC teams, they've done well. Florida State, they hung around well with. Boston College, they hung around well with, beat them. So I want Stanford in this one against UNC. A little shocking. I know UNC has some momentum, but I think Stanford gets this.
I mean, this is coming down to the wire. 24, 23.5, 22.5.
Yeah,
if he gets your 6.5.
I looked at this one. This was one of the three that I zeroed in on that I thought about picking. So I'm a fan of the pick.
I mean, it's hard to pick with
North Carolina as
a
7.5 point favorite. They could be playing anyone. And I think that's an attractive pick to go the other way on that one.
So this is at Stanford?
This is at North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chapel Hill. That may change my mind a bit, though, on that. The travel, Chad. I mean, only Oregon's unaffected by them.
If I have to hear about the travel.
Man, that's all they do is complain about the travel. You got to go to Chapel Bill. Wrong team favorite there. Again, you should follow these picks. We haven't done that consistently. We will be doing that now. Just looking at all the victories. We've got Josh Booty coming up in just a moment. This episode of Hot Mic brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks, simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if you get your pick right, you're going to cash in. PrizePicks invented the flex play. That's what I played this week, which means you still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. It's outstanding. PrizePicks also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your takes into cash all season long on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app. Code is HOTMIC, H-O-T-M-I-C. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HOTMIC, H-O-T-M-I-C. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Josh Booty tells us his reaction to the decision to make sure that Brian Kelly wasn't coaching at LSU anymore, and who's not going to be the Brian Kelly bad fit. Who's the perfect fit? He tells us next.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on PrizePicks. Download PrizePicks and use code OutKick and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.